Hello and welcome to Rediscover Your Wellness with Cheryl. As only one of two functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioners here in Australia, I thought it was actually worthwhile to take the time to tell you how you could rediscover your wellness with the skills and the tool sets that I offer, which are quite unique. Quite fundamental to the way I practice is listening to your story, which I gather a lot of the base information through quite an in-depth questionnaire. And then I take this information and chart it on what's called a functional nutrition matrix and timeline. And it's these tools that I'd like to show you how they can assist you in rediscovering your wellness. I'm just going to screen share a minute here, so bear with me. Okay, here we go. Just move myself out of the way a little bit. Right. And now my screen doesn't want to share. Well, here we go. Right. So this is what you're looking at the moment is a functional nutrition matrix. And this is one of the key tools I use to capture your information because it's not often that we actually have a practitioner who sits down and listens to us and gets the full story. But often, once we've reached a state of unwellness, it hasn't just happened overnight. It's usually accumulated over time and is often quite a collection of symptoms. And by using a functional nutrition matrix helps you sort of see where they're related and why we implement sort of certain nutrition and lifestyle practices, what systems it's impacting on and why. So just to give you an overview, this matrix is actually broken into three parts. The first part is the story, and I'm going to come back and talk about these all in depth. The middle bit is the soup, so that's where I map a lot of your symptoms, okay, and the skills. So these is the area that we work on to help you rediscover your wellness. So let's just take each of those areas one by one. Okay, first looking at the story, the antecedents. So this is all about you and your family history, what you know. There's a lot of information around about epigenetics and things. Now, just because your mother or your father or your aunt have a history or a genetic predisposition to certain diseases, it doesn't mean to say that you are necessarily going to get them. If you can manage your diet and lifestyle and environmental factors. And sometimes we can't manage all of those, and that's why we have reached the state of unwellness that we're in. But it's good to know what we're working with or what we're working against. Triggering events. These are events, whether they be food related, nutrition related, lifestyle related, that have contributed to your current health issue. And there may be more than one of these or a sequence of these that have happened, which our body's got to the point that says, I just can't cope with this anymore. And our weakest points have started to, or our weakest systems have started to. Mediators down here, these here are the food and lifestyle practices that you currently know positively or negatively impact on your wellness. And knowing what makes you feel good and knowing what makes you feel bad are both equally important, because we want to try and heighten and ensure there's plenty of things that make you feel good as you move forward, and we want to be able to crowd out or put strategies in place to prevent the things that negatively impact on your lives. We move into this middle section here, the soup. This is the area of the map where I chart up people's symptoms, because they're often related to different body parts or different body systems rather, and often there's a relationship between these. So let's just move around the clock. The gastrointestinal area, so this is all about the gut health, and if you found yourself in a state of unwellness, there's generally always a gut component present there that will need addressing. Immune and inflammation balance. If you've got an autoimmune condition, you're definitely going to have inflammation or immune balance happening up here. Environmental inputs. So these are the external things that are impacting on our life or our body systems and our wellness. Oxidative stress and energy production. How many of you out there are feeling fatigued, and particularly for the autoimmune condition, this sector will be impacted on as well. Detoxification, so this is looking at, the skin is actually one of our biggest detoxification systems, along with the way we breathe, and also urination and the way we poop. It tells us a lot of information, and we want those systems working really well as we want to improve our health and wellness. Hormones and neurotransmitters. So your neurotransmitters are more involved with things like anxiety and depression and how your body communicates on a chemical level, and likewise with your hormones, because often these get disrupted when our body is not functioning optimally. Mind, spirit, emotions, and community. Now this is a really huge area and of increasingly importance, as people are actually, while we've got more ways to be connected with online and through technology, there's actually a bit of feeling of isolation. A lot of the latest research actually suggests that isolation is as damaging to the health as what smoking cigarettes can be, which is really quite frightening. Okay, structural integrity. This is looking at physical, skeletal, and muscular alignment, and any injuries you may have had, any surgeries you may have, and how does this impact on any of these other factors that are going on. So for example, just so you can see the interconnectedness of what we're dealing with here. So for example, if you've been in a car accident and you've suffered whiplash, and you've got some gastrointestinal issues happening, maybe like low stomach acid, or you're getting reflux, for example, it may be that there's some damage to a vagal nerve which runs from the brain right through our digestive system. So often when we come across issues, they've been looked at very much in isolation, and our body actually doesn't work in isolation, it works as a big network, and this is what this soup helps us to understand. So over on this right hand side here is where we're dealing with the skills. So these are what I call the 5 pillars for health and wellness. So these are where we take a look at what are you currently doing, the way you're eating, what you're sleeping, how you're dealing with stress, what support networks do or don't you have around you, and then we build a plan working on these 5 pillars so we can address the symptoms that are happening in the soup, and in turn understand also more about your mediators and getting a lot more positive ones in there, and to help you rediscover your wellness. So hopefully that gives you a really good overview, and yes, to get this information you do complete a very in-depth questionnaire, and I take the time to hand map this all out for you. Something else that is coming out now is software to aid with this process. So I'll just give you a look at it, because this functional nutrition matrix that you're looking at here has been adapted from the Institute of Functional Medicine. Okay, and so I'm just going to take you over to the Institute of Functional Medicine one next, so you can see where the differences are, and really it's about some of the terminology. Terms have changed. To be honest, I think they're a lot easier explained here. I'll just take you over. So this has been a computer generated one. So again, you see you've got your structural, your simulation here, which is about your gastrointestinal, your defence and repair, which is about immune energy. That's where we're looking at the oxidative stress. The detoxification down here is with the elimination. We've also got the transport and communication. Okay, and so it looks a little bit different, but in effect gives us exactly the same information, and it's just an online way of communicating. The other part that's really important, and this is looking at a computer-generated one rather than a hand-generated one, is that during the collection process we get to see all the things that have accumulated over the years. Okay, it normally has a specific year, but I've actually hidden this for confidentiality reasons, and we can see different trigger points of when life events have happened, and also when our body has probably kicked back at us and said, I don't like what's happening, what's broken down. Okay, and these can also be very useful when you're working with other practitioners who may not have the time to fully get your story each time, but they can quickly have a look at a matrix or a timeline, and and see what has been happening for you. So I hope that has given you an understanding of how a functional nutrition and lifestyle practitioner works. I do offer a free discovery call with people if they want to know more, if they want to understand in a little bit more detail how I would work with your specific condition and helping you